Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee. I wanted to show you my new mug that I got while I was in Hawaii. Actually, my daughter found it, and the really fun thing is all these little things are V's. So I kind of like unusual mugs, and I looked the whole time for one, found kind of a cute one, but it wasn't big enough. And then my daughter found this one in a thrift store right up my alley. I am a thrift store junkie. The thrill of the deal. Well, good morning. It is Monday. Here it's going to be a pretty day. I hope it is where you are. And thank you all for joining me. Tina, Julie, Robin, how are ya? All right, this is a really amazing reading, and I'm sure you'll all get something from it too, but boy, was it ever perfect for me. I had a little situation on Friday that really threw me off balance and really unsettled me. And I finally got myself back to a place of going, all things happen for my highest and best good. And the first card that I'll tell you more about the happening, maybe not today, maybe when it's pretty resolved on the other side, just so I can show you the progression, because I do know that it happened exactly for my highest and best. Well, thank you very much, Tina. Good morning, Susan. So the first card is awesome. And reclaim your power. The thing is this card was in a deck where it didn't belong, and it was right on top. And I kept looking at it going, well, this doesn't belong with this deck. And it was like, oh, well, absolutely I needed to hear that, because when the situation happened on Friday, I went into fear, I went into anger, I went into confusion, panic, and I got to a place of going, all right, God, I know that your hand was in this, because none of this should have happened like it did. And it was just very planned is how it feels on this side of it. And so in my recent trip to Hawaii, I knew I would receive lots, but I had no idea, and I mentioned this on Friday, I had no idea how much I would receive. And I did receive some new healing gifts and some new healing understanding. And when you are not in your power, you can't really exercise your gifts to the fullest potential. And what I want in life is to be a positive influence on as many people as I possibly can in the world. And am I always perfect at that? Oh, goodness, no. But I try, and I try to keep myself balanced and in a centered place so that I can react from a place of love and not of fear. And what that first card said was reclaim my power. Reclaim your power. I'm going to read the back of it. No, one reason why you give away your power in your everyday life, and that ask yourself if that situation is worth losing your peace of mind over. Your goal to reclaim your power in a positive and mindful way. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Candace. Nice to see you. And so the second card that came up was Mystic Healer. And healing energy flows through you. When we get into fear, which is kind of the basis of all negative emotion, we freeze up, we lock up, and the flow of whatever energy we're going to be channeling, the flow is stopped. And so when you reclaim your power and you own that everything is working for your highest and best good always, regardless of how it seems at that moment, if you can get yourself centered back into that place of trusting. One of my key phrases, a friend gave me, a mentor, she asked her mentor one time, good morning, Lori. She asked, how do you do what you do? And she looked at her and she said, unwavering faith. And that just struck me. And I'm going to grab something here. And it was a few days later, I found this beautiful angel. I don't know if you can see it because of the conversation. This says faith. And I decided, one of the things I know is that I am blessed to have several angels around me. I channel Archangel Uriel, who is the angel of wisdom. And truthfully, I did not know that. I knew I had the gift of wisdom, that it didn't come from me, it came through me, but I never asked. I just knew that the energy that I channeled was good. So, I had an aura photo a few years back, and the really fun thing was that I had a vision of what that was going to be before I even knew that I was going to have a photo. I didn't even know they were existing. And I had a vision that I was walking in the wind and my hair was blowing 10 feet in the back, and there was this fleet of angels over me, and it was fleeting. I was on my way into Sedona for the first time, and it was like, oh, that's really cool. That was it. And I got to Sedona, long story short, had the aura photo, and there are 7 angels or 7 white orbs above my head. And I thought, okay, well, there you go. Anyway, we cannot fully live the gifts we've been given if we are locked up in fear and we are giving away our power. So ask yourself, where do I give away my power daily? For many of us, it is in financial fear about what's going to happen, and everything that we start our thought processes from about that has to do with lack. And so just ask yourself, how can I reclaim my power there? Ask, connect with your higher power. And when you do, you will enter the gates of triumph, which we can enter several times a day in every area of our life. Success expands in your life. Yay! My success means that I get to influence more and more people on a regular basis. That's what my success looks like. So me doing these live videos and then working one-on-one with my clients are ways that I can share. And I do a weekly, monthly article in a local paper. And so you sharing these videos with people you think might benefit is helping me in my goal to be as positive influence as I can in the world to as many people as possible. So, as I was sitting here, I thought, well, I'm going to just draw one more card today to get a sense of the week and how we're going to enter in. And couldn't be more stepping into your power. You are strong beyond measure. The incident that happened on Friday absolutely shook me in many ways and took me into Saturday. I basically was in tears all Friday afternoon and a good portion of Saturday. And you know, still I had the understanding that, you know, all things are working out for me for my highest and best good, always. And what happened absolutely was so bizarre in so many ways that it had to be mystical. It wasn't just a failure on somebody's part. It was the way it happened. All was meant to be. And when you can get to that place, it certainly feels better, but that fear energy floats away, the strength, the joy. Good morning, Linda. And your power can come back in and start working again. So start asking yourself, what does it feel like to live in my power if you don't feel that that's where you live on a regular basis? When you start living in the gifts that you've been given, that could be childcare. That could be the active role you have in someone else's life. You could be a teacher. You could be a nurse. You can be, I had one client who worked in fiber optics, and we were working together, and all of a sudden I just looked at her one day and I went, do you have any idea how many millions of people you can affect by charging this work that you do with love and success? Okay, Lori, well, a few weeks before I left for Hawaii, was asked to do some work with a naturopath, which sounded great. I met with them 3 times. Wonderful people. They are wonderful people. At least that's all I ever felt from them. It was all very positive. And they said, you know what, you can use this office. And you can just, when you work with this on this thing too, you can be seeing clients at the same time. You can just move your office here. And so we worked out an agreement where I would pay a percentage of what I earned. That way, you know, it wasn't a constant expense like I had with my other office. So I gave notice, gave up my office. Friday I went to get the keys. and that whole thing fell through. I will still work with them, but the money they needed to set those 2 rooms up to be doing something that they wanted to do in the future, that money came in. And so they need to take those 2 rooms and create the therapy rooms they wanted, which meant I have no office at all. And so yesterday, Jeff and I went over and we packed up all the furniture in my office and brought it home and put it in the shed with all my sister's stuff too. And so I do get to use that room for a little bit here. I can go back to where I was and just use that as well. Although none of it is wonderful and doesn't feel the same as my office. But it all was so perfect. Everything in me felt comfortable about that whole decision. And then it was yanked out from under me. And so I finally just went, okay, this is just too strange to be coincidental. I'm just going with that. I needed to be out of that office. I don't know what the future looks like going forward. Am I going to have another fixed office? Do I work from my home? Do I set up an office out somewhere on my property? Most of you don't probably know, I live 30 miles from Boise, so that's a bigger city. I don't know that clients will come 30 miles away to see me. But for now, I don't have to worry about that. The truth of it is I never have to worry about it. I just need to have unwavering faith that I'm being put in the exact position for me that I need to be in, and I'm just going to trust that. So that's the story of what happened Friday. And of course, my emotions are really on the surface right now anyway. And so Friday I was a basket case. Then Saturday I was still a basket case and had angry words with my husband, which truthfully puts me in a much more focused space. So then I started getting some of the minute stuff out of the way that I needed to do because it's causing clutter in my life. And with all the upheaval of the last few months, there's enough clutter in my life. And so it did help me get motivated to start pushing through some of the detail work that I need to do. So it's all going to be fine. And I know that, because I choose to believe that. So it'll be interesting to see where I land, what the truth is of all of this and what happens. But for now, I'm moving on with doing some work with them and doing my readings and my healing work. And I'm also going to be doing some channeling and some mediumship work, but that's in the future. Oh, thank you, Candace. Yeah, 30 miles. And the truth of it is, it's a pretty easy 30 miles. To get to the farthest place in Boise, for me, it takes like 45 minutes, but that also depends on traffic. So it's not all that far. We'll see what it looks like. I've kind of had this little dream of this office on my property in the back of my head. Well, thank you, Lori. That is helpful, because I've kind of thought of working off my own place for a while and kept going, I don't think people will drive that far. I don't think people will come that far. But I love my home and my, oh, well, thank you, Julie. I love my property is very comforting. It has really good energy. Our home is very love-filled. And so I think that having an office here would be doubly wonderful, and setting it up. The office that I do this in, I don't know that that I need to have it in my house. I think I need to have it separate in my house. But anyway, that's where we're at. And so whatever unsettles us, and I know there are things that happen to us that are far harder than this that happened to me. And that it would take me a lot longer to get to that place of things are going to be fine. But this was a jolt. And I, again, chose to just step into the place of, I give it all up. I'm willing, I'm open, I'm ready. Guide me, because that's where I want to be. I want to be exactly in the right place where I can stand most strongly in my power and allow all that wants to come through me into this world, so that oh, thank you, Pam. That's another nice way of thinking about it. So I'll be talking to my husband, and he's the one, I get the ideas, and my husband, he puts them into action. And My husband, and it is one. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think just being, it certainly would take a lot of the busyness out of my life, the drive over and back every day and all around Boise that I do for different reasons. I could condense that workload into just a couple of days. So everything for my highest and best, and I choose to move forward with unwavering faith that because I'm willing, I'm open, I'm ready, that I will be guided to understand and to do exactly what I need to be doing in this world. And that's the truth for all of you as well. Giving it up instead of trying to take the reins is where the magic is. So, oh, Jessie, it's nice to see you. Thank you all for joining me. And I hope this reading gives you something to launch you into your next highest journey in your life so that you're standing in your power more. If you can't feel that you are accessing your power, if you tend to live with more limitations, then thank you, Julie. If you're living more in your limitations and you just feel stuck and locked up, yeah, I agree. My friend Brandy said, let's get together for coffee. I'm sure. She said, I'm glad that office fell through. I'm almost there, Brandy. Again, unwavering faith. Yeah, let's just get together for some coffee. So maybe this afternoon, Brandy, I don't know what your schedule is, but I'm in Eagle this afternoon, and I have probably about an hour break between 2 and 3. So enough of that. Live in your power, stand in your power. If you can't access that or don't feel like you can access, ask, what is it that's standing in my way? Start trusting what you get immediately in your mind, because our mind can get in the way, and we need to know, trust what comes in. The mind is where we generally get our answers. So trust what the first thought is when you ask. So thank you all for your positive energy, your kind words, and for joining me. Please share this video with those you think could benefit from it, and ask them to share as well. That will help grow the presence here, that maybe we can all positively affect more and more people on a regular basis, and a little more love goes out into the world, and that's never a bad thing. So I'm sending you all so much love and light, so much power to stand in and move forward in your power and get rid of that fear energy. I'm Victoria Savage. We just had coffee with my beautiful mug, and I will see you Wednesday morning. Love and light to you all. Thank you for joining me.